If you're familiar with my channel, you already know that I love all things Optimus Prime toys. I'm not talking just like movie masterpiece and studio series and generations. I'm also talking the kiddier ones. The ones that are aimed more towards younger fans, but also still have like cool, fun features that are still appealing to us older collectors. And I feel like this Beast Mode Optimus Prime is a toy that's pretty overlooked by a lot of collectors, especially since the Beast Mode Bumblebee from the same series leaves a lot to be desired. The Beast Mode Bumblebee seems pretty I might get it if it goes on a deep clearance at some point, but I really knew I wanted this Beast Mode Optimus Prime. Now this is kind of like one of those more modern day, like leader class price-ish, old leader class size electronic toys that Hasbro really started to do around Cyberverse. There's been several like Cyberverse toys of Optimus Prime that are around this size, that have lights and sounds, but are more simplistic and have less engineering and, you know, not a lot of paint. And this is pretty much in that realm. And I think it's pretty successful for what it wants to do. And one really cool thing about this toy, and you might have kind of seen it from the, you know, either the thumbnail or the title, is that this is actually a concept art figure that kind of snuck in to the Rise of the Beast main toy line. And I really hope I can find the concept art. If I have found it, you're looking at it right now. If I haven't found it, just look up, you know, TFW 2005 Rise of the Beast concept art. They have like so many different news posts with different galleries. I know I saw it there. But both the truck mode and the robot mode have elements of concept art for Optimus Prime from Rise of the Beast. Because you can see clearly this truck mode is not what we saw in the movie whatsoever. But this truck mode is also pretty similar to what we saw from the little like Beast Alliance toy that was kind of like in that $10 price range. It's a very similar alt mode to that. And I really do appreciate that we do have like a larger toy of this very Transformers Prime Beast Hunters alt mode. I love the, you know, the black railings and guardings on it. I love the front grille with all this, you know, added beef. I love the sides with all this armor. The back leaves a little bit to be desired. It's one of those toys where it's like, oh, there's the hands. There's just nothing back here to cover it. I feel like they probably could have added an extra flap on each of these panels to cover the back. I feel like they could have, but it just would have added a little bit extra bulk to the arms and a couple more pieces that maybe just weren't in the budget. And also, you're not looking at your toy like this anyway. You're not. And also, this does kind of leave the opportunity if kids want to, like, put anything in there, like any of the little, you know, Beast Alliance target mastery guys, or you can put the sword in there. You know, it gives you some option to actually, you know, just have stuff to put in there. I don't know. But yeah, you do have the sword accessory. It's a very classic Michael Bay Optimus Prime. Very classic. But it does look a little bit like the sword he had in the movie as well. Oddly enough, he can only, like, hold it. He can't really, like, mount it on his arm, but there might be a way to sort of, I don't know. We'll just set it off to the side because it's just an accessory that's tabbed on to the side. One thing about this truck mode is that it does kind of do that thing, especially since this, actually, I think both wheels are kind of needed for, like, some hinge area, especially this one, but only the front and the back wheels actually spin. Those are slightly raised up, so they do not spin. And this toy number one, like, especially on this surface, doesn't get a lot of traction because it's a very smooth surface. But I'm sure, like, on a rug, this toy would probably roll around a little bit better because it's more of like an off-road, you know, beastie Optimus Prime anyway. So you wouldn't really be rolling it on a table like this. I do wonder. I'm just going to do it real quick. I can confirm it rolls a lot better on a rug. So definitely meant for a more rugged surface, for sure. It rolls pretty well on the rug. One really cool thing about this truck mode is that the lights and sounds work in the truck mode, and it has truck sounds. So that button right there is the same button we're also going to use in the robot mode, but we can just press that, and we have vehicle noises. I think that's pretty much it. So I really do appreciate that there are actual vehicle noises for this toy. Because when I was a kid, I always liked my cars when I could, you know, have them do something and actually have a noise to go with it. Like, it just adds a lot. It just adds a lot of play. And this is just a fun Optimus all around. I just think it's really fun. Let's transform it. Let's see what we're looking at for the robot mode. So I really enjoy the transformation on this figure because it does a few things I really like. But it does also have a few things that are kind of simple and you're kind of like, why does it do that? So first things first, I always remove these big old panels off the top. Those tab into the arms. It just gives you one extra thing that is now loose that you don't have to worry about connecting. I also remove the arms from the side there, so that's something else that is loose. We can just fold those flaps in, and these are going to be the arms. We can pretty much already swing these out to the side, straighten them, and there we go. If you want the truck mode with just the arms sticking out, that is an option for you. We might as well just do it. The head just flips out. So you can also just have like the head and the arms just out and the rest of the truck is just formed. Actually, that doesn't look too bad, just having the rest of the truck like that. This looks very goofy though, it looks very goofy. So these big black panels out the front, you untab those. And this does one of those things I really like with certain Transformers where it has these big panels that like form the truck around the sides. I always enjoy that as an element of the transformation. And this does another thing with the transformation too I really enjoy. First, let me get these panels out of the way. These ones too are a little tricky, but getting the legs all flipped out and around, you can see once we get the legs straightened and untabbed, because otherwise it's just not going to work out. It's one of those groove tabs, yeah, where like you don't pull it, you like slide it. So getting the legs straightened and tabbed in, you do get to see that he's not really going to have hip articulation. That's for the gimmick. And it's kind of disappointing. He also doesn't really have knees either. I feel like they could have engineered him with knees. It's kind of a letdown he doesn't have the knees. But still, since this toy has like a leg gimmick, I kind of get it. One thing I love though with the legs, I love when Transformers do this. When the side panel flips in and the wheels end up inside the shin. I just think that is always so aesthetically pleasing. There has never not been a time where I think that just works out so great. So then we get these panels up to the side, tab these ones in, just like so, and then that flips down. So it's looking pretty nice when it comes to the robot mode. It is obviously a big gimmicky toy of Optimus from Rise of the Beasts. If you want one that looks really nice that transforms, I got news for you. Studio Series exists. The mainline Voyager exists. You have options. So there we go. That's pretty much Rise of the Beast, Beast Mode Optimus in his robot mode. And this is what I was talking about. Like, you don't really have like a panel on the arm to like tab that in. You pretty much just has to hold it. And it is a clear hilt, so do be mindful of that. But honestly, this is a really nice looking robot mode. And it is pretty big, too. Like, it is a very sizable toy of Optimus from Rise of the Beast. Bringing in the previously mentioned Studio Series Voyager, you can see this is like an old school leader class size. And I can tell, too, it does have some old school leader class heft, but nothing compared to, like, the Revenge of the Fallen era. I'm talking, like, maybe Dark of the Moon Bumblebee without his backpack kind of heft. I'm talking like maybe Age of Extinction leader class kind of heft, like 30th Anniversary Combiner Wars leader class kind of heft. It's definitely that kind of leader class sized figure. But you can see like it's still very clearly Rise of the Beast Optimus, but he does have some kind of concept art stuff going on. He has the added like paneling to the shoulders. He has some added paneling to the torso. And that's pretty much the main like concept art stuff you can really see from this mode. He does have the back like cape panels, which is also kind of a part of that concept art, but you'll really see how that gets featured in this toy in just a second. I just want to show off this robot mode a little bit more because I just really enjoy it. So the articulation on it is pretty simplistic. You can swivel the knees for like some posing, which is kind of nice. You do get big ball joints at the shoulders, and I guess if you want that as like a butterfly hinge going back, it's just the transformation hinge. You do also have an elbow bend, which is actually pretty deep. get a pretty deep elbow bend. And one thing with big toys like this, I always hope there's head articulation. And thankfully, you do have a swivel at the head. It is very hollow. It's a very hollow head, but you do have swivel at the head. And it is a very nice head sculpt, too. One of my favorite aspects about the new movie universe Optimus Prime design is the head. I love the look of the mouth plate. I love the detail of it. It just looks really cool. And I like that the eyes are still painted on this one. The silver doesn't extend to, like, the face. It's just on the face plate. But still, that's a very nice looking Optimus Prime head sculpt. I really do like that. And all around, you can see a lot of details are sculpted in, especially around the arms, but they're not very painted in. And someone may say, oh, that looks so cheap, blah, blah, blah. Even the nice Studio Series one did not do a lot of the painting on the forearms, so yeah, just leave it be. It's a toy for kids, and I think it has the sufficient amount of detail and articulation for what it is and what it is trying to be. This toy does not need to be super painted. It just doesn't. If Takara wants to re-release it and like give it an amazing deco, that's on Takara. I'm sure it will look great. But this is just one of those toys where it doesn't need that extra deco. I feel like it has all the color it really needs. So I do want to talk about the lights and sounds, because he does still have them in the robot mode, and it's still the same button right there.
I am Optimus Prime.
It has Peter Cullen. It is so rare to have an Optimus toy this day and age with lights and sounds that has Peter Cullen himself voicing it.
Autobots unite. Autobots fall back.
It does have a nice sound effect for like slashing the sword, which I appreciate.
I am Optimus Prime.
And the sound chip is so good.
Autobots fall back.
Of course he has to make the sound. Of course he does.
Autobots unite.
I think that's pretty much all he says.
Autobots fall back.
I mean, he does a transformation noise, obviously. So that's pretty much it for, like, the main robot mode. But I'm sure you're all aware this figure does have a couple things up its sleeves and then one thing up its chest, I guess. I don't know, I'll just show you. So this being Beast Mode Optimus Prime from Rise of the Beasts, it does have a little bit of a beastly action feature. So you might have noticed these panels on the arms, and you can open those up, and you can flip out claws. And I think that is very cool. You don't really see Optimus Prime with claws too often, and I just think for what this toy does, the claws are a very nice addition. But I'm sure you saw like these hinges here and like this panel here and the springs up there. You're probably wondering, if you don't already know, how does this beast mode transformation work? Well, let me show you, because this is very cool and very impressive. All you do is squeeze the legs together. And oh, it's just so cool. You get the transformation noise. You get these flipping out. Super awesome. You get a very Leo Prime head coming out the chest. And it's just very cool, too, like how his head moves up. Like, he just looks like he's powering up. And I just love that. The button to activate this is actually found, like, when the lion head moves. So if you keep squeezing it, it's not going to activate it again. So you can just keep pressing that to reactivate the sound if you're very in need of it. It pretty much has the same sound like when it activates, but once you hit the button, it starts making different noises. You get, you know, the lion growls.
Beast mode activated.
I love the light too. I think that the clear lion head with the paint on it with the light just works really well.
Beast mode activated.
Is that all it says? I feel like it said something else.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, there we go. So I think that's pretty much all the lights and sounds. And just because I need to show it off one more time, the easiest way to like redo it, I just squeeze the legs. You just put actually the first thing I do, squeeze the legs, fold those back.
Beast mode activated.
And then one thing you notice just there, like you said, beast mode activated instead of the lion roar. You can also just push the lion back in and close up the chest. And you kind of want to make sure those tabs are fully put down so it fully triggers it yet again. And I just got to do it one more time. It is just so satisfying. I love how these panels look on the side as like shields. And again, it's kind of based off that concept art I showed earlier, and it just looks super cool. This doesn't happen in the movie, obviously. It's just a cool thing. But still, a big talking electronic Optimus Prime toy with a beast mode where it has like a Leo Prime lion head homage is just so cool to me. I just think it's so cool. This one plus like the Leo Prime like Beast Alliance armor figure are just so fun. I know I got a comment on that video like, you know, oh, this is trash. This looks like a kid's meal toy. And like, I'm sure some people are looking at this like, oh, this is just hot garbage. We used to get toys that were a lot cooler back in the 80s. And did you really? Did you really? I mean, toys are just different now. Were they really better back then? Because I see like vintage toy collectors all the time talk about how their old figures always break, how they, you know, always have these quality control issues, but they have that nostalgia lens where they just think they're always so much better. And like I think about that with like my toys a lot too. The toys I grew up with, I think are awesome. But I also look at the toys coming out now and they're also awesome. We're just not kids anymore. But I can still look at a toy like this and say, hey, if I was a kid and I got this, I would be pretty happy with it. And this is coming from a collector who grew up as a kid with what many collectors consider to be the best Optimus Prime toy ever, the Cybertron Leader class. That was my Optimus Prime growing up. So me saying that like this is a really cool toy that I'm sure a lot of kids would really still love nowadays is saying something. Now, one odd thing about this release, is it a Walmart exclusive? Because I've only seen it available at Walmart's. I haven't seen it available anywhere else. I see Walmart have Bumblebee and Optimus, but Target and Target.com just has Bumblebee. It's very surprising to me because Target had like a sale on Transformers, and I'm like, oh, I might get that Beast Mode Optimus off of Target.com since they had like 25% off Transformers. They didn't have it. They just didn't have it. So I did end up paying full price for this. I just wanted it. I just did. And I think it's fun. I think it's great. I think it's worth it. I like it. If it seems like something up your alley, man, go and get it. Because for me, I'm one of those collectors that, yes, I do have the Studio Series Voyager. It's great. I love it. But I also love this one for different reasons. They both serve different functions in my collection, and I'm perfectly fine with that. As someone who has like damn near 200 different Optimus Prime toys by now, and I need to recount, because I'm sure it's probably over 200 now. This one definitely has its place in my collection. My family always teases me about me getting new Optimus Primes, and my response is always, but this one's different. And this one really does feel different to me, and I really do enjoy it. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think it's a fun toy for, you know, kids and collectors? Do you think it's something that can be appreciated? I think it is, and I think it's really cool. It's based off of concept art, too. I just like it, man. It makes me happy. I like it. I had so much fun filming this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special shout out to channel members, as always. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Have a great one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.